Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us to have a bit of a discussion today, and that discussion is going to be about Zenless Zone Zero and the loss of its players, the loss of its content creators, because my oh my, this game is not really going that well. All you need to do is just take a quick look at the Twitch tracker over here. I know the ZZZ players absolutely despise when I take a look at this data, because numbers are something that the player base is really averse to when it, paints a negative tale about their game. And let's just be real here. Seeing numbers like this right after the release of a new patch, that's a little rough. That is a little bit rough, and I think it's basically a sign that the update is not particularly good, and the players aren't particularly too happy with what Hoyoverse is producing. And from this title over here, ex-ZZZ only player can't believe how amazing Wuwa is this really a big shock that this video is releasing right as version 2.2 is? So why don't we give it a listen? Why don't we hear some of the concerns? Why don't we hear some of the thoughts of somebody that's made probably the best conversion of their life? Let's get right on into it.
As a former ZZZ only content creator with quite literally 90% of my subscribers coming from ZZZ, I'm not gonna lie, I'm fully expecting y'all to cook me in the comment section for this one.
That's not surprising at all. And the reason why I say this is a lot of these ZZZ players are some of the most toxic individuals that I think exist in the space. And the reality of the situation is that people think that there might be like some ongoing war between Wuwa and ZZZ. It's one-sided. ZZZ players and the ZZZ community literally hates Wuthering Waves, to the point where there's like Twitter drama that like Ryuku Sensei has been in, where they're calling Wuwa characters gooner bait in Zenless Zone Zero context, where like half the characters are literally just porn. And then there's all the context, right, where you have all of these ZZZ, creators going ahead talking about like Wuwa's power creep, Wuwa's HP inflation. Like, their game literally hasn't pioneered the most HP inflation in the history of the genre. Guys, 6 months in, they released Hoshimi Miyabi. If we're going to be talking about power creep HP inflation, there's really no leg to stand on over here. It's really just a series of, like, illegitimate arguments, right? ZZZ players fight with misinformation and bad takes. Wuwa players come in, simply just list off data and numbers, and then the ZZZ fanbase is like fucking freaking out. And the reality of the situation is that, well, the game's just not on a good path. The game's not doing particularly well. Wuthering Waves only grows more and more and more. Average viewers only goes up and up. Player base only grows and grows. And this game, you just take a look at the numbers over here. The only reason why August doesn't look like a steaming pile of shit is because this is only counting. You can just look at my date over here. This is only counting the first 5 days of September. And you want to know what the first 5 days of September represent for ZZZ? The launch of the latest update. So it's only counting 5 days from over here. This is the average range that's being gotten right here from the 1st of September to now. And when you know that what the rest of the chart is looking like isn't particularly good, and it's already trending way back fucking down, believe me when I say this 2K average viewers, ladies and gentlemen, it's gonna go down to like 1,000 something within like a week. Guaranteed. I think it'll drop to the triple digits by the end of the month. That's the Seed effect. That's the Orpheus effect. That's the Hoyo effect right there. So, yeah, a lot of ZZZ players are really, really mad right now. They're blaming the state of the game. They're taking out their anger on the dog shit state of the game, the miasma, the 2.0, all of that. They're taking it out on other fan bases because they know Hoyoverse isn't going to listen. So, yeah, I can understand the frustration over here. I just provided some context.
I know y'all ain't gonna like this video, and for those of you that know me, well, you know I like to call a spade a spade. I always keep it real in my videos, but I just gotta come out on the record and say it. Wuthering Waves is a phenomenal game that I wish I'd give a proper shot earlier. Now, I get it.
Those are gonna be words and thoughts echoed by every single Zenless Zone Zero creator in a couple of months if they haven't done so already. I regret ignoring Wuthering Waves. I regret dropping Wuthering Waves. I regret letting the Doom posting from clear astroturfers across this game's release. I regret believing that and then going ahead and then not playing the game.
The Wuthering Waves audience and the ZZZ audience, oil and water, they just don't really mix, like, at all. It's like trying to get a turn-based enjoyer to appreciate real-time combat. It just really ain't happening. And let's be honest, we all know who's to thank for that. That one man, Mr. Saint Tontas. The ZZZ audience has PTSD anytime his name comes up.
You wanna know why they have PTSD? PTSD because I say the truth about their game. I just spit facts about the game. That's why that's why I'm the #1 public enemy. That's why I'm the boogeyman of ZZZ. All I would do when it comes to ZZZ is I would simply just list facts about the game. Like how in version 2.1, you require 178.45% more damage to clear the Shiyu defense compared to version 1.4. That's the damage required of version 1.4, around 5 million. Now, well, you need about 23 million or something like that. So, yeah, it's almost close to like quadrupled, if not potentially higher, the amount of damage that's actually required. And, you know, I would just say stuff like this. Hey, the game has a lot of HP inflation. Hey, Miyabi does more damage than S6 Ellen. Hey, guys, isn't that kind of unhealthy? Isn't that kind of like not good? Isn't miasma bad for the game? Because, you know, it increases defense by so much, and that's why the damage required is so high over here. Hey, doesn't this really shill rupture agents who penetrate defense with sheer force that's built into their kit? Because, guys, look, the HP went down in 2.1, but because there's defense inflation that only rupture characters can deal with, this is the new damage required. Isn't that great? I would call out stuff like that, right? I would say what's wrong with the game. I would say what's going to kill the game. And, well, all you need to do is look at this chart. On June 2025, that's when 2.0 was released. And the game has essentially 2.0, miasma, all the dog shit mechanics that we talked about, right? And the game's just been on a steady decline every single month since then. And this month over here, it's only carried by the launch of the patch. And believe me when I say this, once this gets buffered out by the clear decline that the game's about to go on in the next week, this monthly chart over here, it's going to show even more of a downward trend. And so you can just make the conclusion, right? All of the stuff this game added in 2.0 wasn't actually that great for players because there's absolutely no retention at all. And you want to know one of the biggest factors for retention in a game like this? Your end game. Yeah, if your end game is a piece of shit that nobody wants to fucking play, then people aren't going to stick with the game in the long run. Looks like Saint was right the entire time, boys.
Y'all hear Mr. Tonetaz and instantly half of the player base is triggered. Mr. Tonetaz is known as a terrorist in them ZZZ streets. And I mean, rightfully so. The man cooks ZZZ so hard that calling yourself a ZZZ player nowadays feels like you're calling yourself a mint picker. But
damn, he kind of laying it on thick. I'm not gonna lie. He kind of laying it on thick. He's basically calling them stupid if you still play the game. I didn't even say that. Those were his words, not mine.
here's the twist. Some of the stuff he says, it actually has some merit. I'm not saying I agree with everything. He do be reaching sometimes, but the core of what he critiques, he's not entirely wrong.
Yes, I say a couple of hyperboles, but you want to know what the best part of this is? I said one hyperbole about how you need Yixuan to clear the content. Hoyoverse actually heard my hyperbole and decided to make it reality because they decided to reduce the HP of the boss, but then inflate its defense to levels that have never been seen before. And Yixuan is going to be one of the only characters who can deal with this content, along with the other new Rupture agent that's coming in version 2.3.
And that's what kind of sparked up this video. See, ZZZ just hasn't really been doing it for me lately. I don't know what it is, but every new patch just feels like filler.
The characters are shit, that's why. ZZZ decided to go ahead and, for some godforsaken reason, with character designs that were like fucking trash, right? They decided to... Let me see if I can find it. Oh, nope, they just post so much garbage on this Twitter that nobody actually cares about. Okay, where are the drip markets for the characters, guys? Oh, yeah. Oh, look. Oh, we got about three. Oh, we got a nice 3K likes over here. Yeah, we're definitely farming over here. Yeah, we're definitely not fucking diluting all the actual shit that people want to take a look at with all these useless fucking posts. Holy shit. This is a fucking mess. This Twitter account is a fucking mess. I'm just looking for the drip marketing. They decided to release dog shit designs where it's like you have tentacle Yixuan, and then you also then proceed to have like Ganyu Yixuan, and these are all directly following the worst design characters potentially in gacha history, Orpheus and Seed, who just look like shit. She looks like an NPC. She just looks like shit. And so the next 100 days of this game, the rest of 2.2, and then the rest of 2.3, you have nothing to look forward to. You got these two idiots, failures of character design, And then you got this, just Yijuan with horns, the A rank, and then this shit. Huh? Seed's gameplay is worse than her appearance? I guess the gameplay designers have given up as well. If you're a ZZZ player and you don't like those units, and chances are you probably don't like those units because they look like trash, there is nothing to look forward to for the next 100 days. That's the danger, ladies and gentlemen, of drip marketing your next version 80 days early, or like 50 days early. That's the problem with drip marketing your next version 50 days early. It's when your next version is shit, and the characters are shit. You've now killed the hype for 1/4 of the calendar year. Congratulations.
I've been saying this since the beginning. The character designs, they don't really hit for me. Like, they're not ugly or anything, but they don't have the same impact on me as other gacha games do. The story is all right, I'll give them that, and I do love the combat system.
The story's shit. Let's just be real. If you're, I'm gonna be real. If you're saying that ZZZ's story is anything other than just slop after version 2.1, you're coping. Let's just stop lying to ourselves and be honest. The 2.1 story is one of the worst stories in gacha history. One of, if not the worst stories ever made. So many cliches, so many convoluted plot points, so much like forced connections and relationships that I think is like the pinnacle of like how bad Hoyoverse's storytelling actually is. It's legitimately made for actual like 10-year-olds. It's like a bad Disney movie. It's a bad Pixar film.
Z's combat is still, in my opinion, one of the best in the genre. Their world building is unique, I'll give them their props there, but it just doesn't outweigh the cons for me anymore. And look, every gacha game has its ups and downs. That's just how it goes. But this low feels like rock bottom.
This low feels like rock bottom? Guys, the anniversary was 2 updates ago. Hey, what happened to the best anniversary? What happened to the best 2.0 and the best anniversary in gacha history? Did you guys like those 20 polls? Did you guys like those 20 polls and the free standard character in W? Oh, wait, nobody's using those. Oh, right. Oh, right, because the content is this fucked up. Nobody's using the standard characters and standard weapons anymore. You're right. Oh, right. Yeah, I don't think there's a standard Rupture Agent. Yeah, there's no standard Rupture Agent. There's no standard 5-star Rupture W engine either. So, yeah, really helpful. Yeah, let's disregard the fact that Wuwa gives out Hoyoverse's anniversary gift just on random patches. Yeah, on 2.6, we got a random 20 pull in Wuwa. That is effectively your anniversary gift in Hoyoverse games. Do you guys find it surprising why everyone's jumping ship? Is it surprising why every person is jumping ship to another game?
I'm just not having fun like I used to. Back in the day, I'd log in, grind, get hyped for drops. Now, I log in, stare at the screen for a few minutes, maybe do a daily or 2, and log out. We hit a high with version 1.3. That was peak ZZZ.
I thought 1.4 was peak ZZZ, but sure, go off, King.
But ever since then, it felt like a slow ride down the roller coaster.
I would say the decline started in version 1.5, with the Astra Yao quest being one of the most boring ones I've ever done. But yeah, I thought 1.4 was cool, and then it was all downhill from there.
Like, we peak again at 2.0. That gave me hope.
2.0 story was also trash. It was just not as bad as 2.1. 2.1 was a noticeable downgrade, for sure. But this one? Oh, Shifu! Oh, Shifu, you're so strong and capable, Shifu! Oh my god, Shifu! Ha! So intelligent! So capable! Save me!
But then next patch just kind of deflated it. So naturally, I was just gonna ride it out, wait for the game to bounce back. But then I decided I wanted to try some other gacha games out while I wait for ZZZ to get a bit better.
It's not going to, bro. It's not going to for the next, like... You gotta wait like 200 days. Like, you gotta wait for the next. You gotta wait until like next year. I'm not even joking. Like, this game is gonna be shit until like potentially 2026. Basically 80 days until this update with these 2 characters is over. Guys, 80 days is like 3 months from now. This update's gonna end in December. Bro!
Brought HSR onto the channel recently, and that's actually been a nice breath of fresh air. I've genuinely been having fun with it. I like the overall story. I like some of the character writings, and it scratched that turn-based itch that I've been having for quite a while. But then I heard a few of my friends talking about Wuthering Waves
He's gonna quit HSR in a minute.
again. They showed me a peek of Augustus combat.
He's gonna get a Pentaconi and Amphorius story and be like, yeah, no, I signed up for this shit. Nah, fuck this.
Augustus combat leaks, and that's what actually really made me look into the game again. Now, I ain't new to WoWa. I played it during 1.0, wasn't really feeling it. The story was meh at the time of 1.0, and the game felt half-cooked. Like, the game needed more time in the oven, so I dropped it. Came back during 2.0, picked up Carlotta, messed around for a bit, but didn't really stay long. Backlog was super crazy, and I didn't feel like playing catch-up. But this time I said, let me give it a real shot. No.
And that's the danger of the ZZZ bait and switch. That timeline basically coordinates with 1.4 was like a pretty damn good update for ZZZ. People thought ZZZ was going to be on the up and up following 1.4. Then they just released mid after mid after mid after mid into trash right after version 1.4. And it's like they kept you hanging on just long enough to think that ZZZ wasn't going to be a dog shit game. And then 2.0 dropped. And the game fucking sucks.
Half measures, I cleared out time, I committed, and I've been playing it consistently just to really understand how it feels as a game. And I gotta be real with y'all, Wuthering Waves at this point of its life cycle is the only gacha game I've seen improve this consistently over time. Like, it's wild how much better it feels now compared to when I first touched it. Back in 1.0, everything felt stiff, combat had potential, but it was clunky, animations didn't really flow, characters felt like they were missing a layer of polish, and the world, as big as it was, felt kind of empty.
The game was, honestly, after version 1.1, the game was, like, pretty good. Then 1.2 was, like, a filler, and so people thought the game was shit again. And then at 1.3, the game was pretty much like... The game hasn't really dramatically gone much further since 1.3. That's still my take. Like, 1.3 was, like... the beginning of like peak WoWa, and then it hasn't really like dramatically gotten better. I just think a lot of people didn't really like play during 1.3. They played during 1.4, or they played during 2.0, and then they're like, oh my gosh, wow, this is like the best thing ever. Why is it that when new players play WoWa, think your Nicholas Lights, think those types of people, right? They all say the Shorekeeper quest is fucking amazing. Every new player to the game that came in the middle of 2.0, 2.1 or whatever, they all say the Shorekeeper quest is fucking amazing.
I log in and just think this game needs a whole extra year of development. Fast forward now, it feels like I'm playing a completely different title. Combat, it's buttery smooth. I'm swapping between characters.
New players are praising the 1.0 story. So guys, let me just reiterate this over and over and over again. Hoyoverse is literally paying CCs to not make Wuthering Waves content. They are designing contracts that give them the right to review your WoWa videos and let you upload them or not let you upload them if you're Hoyo affiliated. That is what Hoyoverse is willing to do on the CC side. Do you think it's outside of the realm of possibility that Hoyoverse was paying people to doom post the game? Do you think that's a crazy idea if they're on the record restricting CC's ability to talk good about the game? I don't think it's a stretch to believe that they're paying people to talk badly about it too. And so, I'll say this over and over again. I think the game was just severely doom posted across 1.0, 1.1, 1.2, whatever. Severely doom posted. And a lot of these issues, a lot of these problems, greatly exaggerated. Greatly exaggerated for dramatic effect. Because if they're going to pay people not to cover the game, I imagine they're gonna fucking pay people to make the problems bigger than they actually are. Probably happened during the anniversary too.
Chaining abilities, pulling off parries, and it just feels great. Every button press has weight behind it, and you could tell the devs went in and really fine-tuned the responsiveness. And it's not just mechanics, it's the presentation. The animations have gotten glow-ups, ultimates feel cinematic, and even the smaller stuff like movement, dodges, and attack cancels feel refined. There's something really satisfying about pulling off a clean combo on Wuthering Waves that I just don't get anywhere else.
This is the part that really solidifies it for me, that the doom posting really got to this guy. You hear all the glazing that he just said over here in this entire section?
Characters, chaining abilities.
That was in 1.0. This was all stuff that was in the game in 1.0. So like, this is what I mean by that was the impact of the doom posting. All of these issues were horrifyingly exaggerated to the point where we're now going ahead talking about features that were in the baseline launch of the game like they're new. And that's the impact that a narrative can have.
About pulling off a clean combo on Wuthering Waves that I just don't get anywhere else. Then there's the quest design. Remember how 1.0 quests felt like fetch missions? Talk to the NPC, run here, kill a mob, get your reward, done. Now in 2.0 and beyond, they actually feel like proper story beats. There's tension, there's pacing, there's build up, and because of that, I actually care about the outcome.
I think he has. This is the thing. I think he just hasn't played the 1.x quests. Yeah, I wouldn't summarize 1.1 or 1.3 as like go around and like kill enemies, or like I wouldn't call them fetch quests. Yeah, it's like I think he just hasn't played the earlier stories.
And bro,
because again, why would you play the earlier stories when this shit has been Doom posted to hell and back?
The world feels alive now, but obviously there's still some improvements that they could do, but it still feels pretty good. Exploring in Wuthering Waves feels rewarding. You stumble across hidden bosses, puzzles, lore, snippets, and it doesn't feel forced. It feels like you're genuinely uncovering stuff in the world that exists beyond just, here's your next quest mark.
Guys, this is the exploration experience in 1.0 too. It's just in 2.0, the map is bigger and you now have flight to go to the other areas faster because there's nothing in fucking between. 1.0 is literally just 2.0 without flight and like more condensed. It's like more condensed with like not as many like cliffs and stuff because you don't have it's like, this is what I mean. It's all of the stuff that we're talking about as like great. It was in the game. It was in the game already. But then we're talking about it like it's new features that came in 2.0. Like none of these things were in here before 2.0, but that's just wrong.
The environments are more vibrant too, so you actually just want to just wander. But the biggest shift for me is the characters. At launch,
I will give him the environment one though.
Be honest, none of them really hooked me. They look cool, sure, but they felt hollow. Now though, they put in the work to flesh these characters out. Each new addition feels distinct, not just in gameplay, but in personality and motivation. You got characters who aren't just strong DPSs or a support unit. They've got reasons to exist in the world, backstories that tie into lore, and interactions that actually make me invested into them. Like when I unlock a new character now, I'm not just thinking, how do they fit into my rotation? I'm thinking, what's their deal? What's their connection to the world? How do they see things differently? That's rare in gachas.
Okay, like I don't think we've played the Camellia story quest or 1.3. Yeah, again, I don't think it's that much of an issue. And obviously he's like giga glazing, but it's more so just a conversation of, it's like, I'm not necessarily like a huge fan of the whole like sort of like history revisionist take that seems to be going on over here, where people are talking about like every version before 2.0 was like, instead of like playing a game, you were like wiping your ass crack with like Satan's toothbrush or like something like that. Like the way that we're sometimes like communicating the message over here makes it seem like the game was like literally garbage trash, and then 2.0 elevated it from like a 1 out of 10 to like a 7, right? And it's just like, guys, the game in 1.4 was like a solid like 8, 7.5, 8 out of 10. And then 2.0 raised it to like a 9, 9.5. It was already good, and then it got better. Not like this steaming pile of shit that had no redeemable qualities. And I guess like the sort of issue that I have with the framing in this video is that we're talking about all of these features, all of these additions, characterizations, right? That are like, we're making it sound like it's exclusive to 2.0, right? We're making it sound like it's exclusive to only the new versions, and that every other patch of the game was just didn't have all these things when they did. And honestly, this shows the impact of first impressions, right? This shows the impact of the like amount of just like how this astroturfing, this Doom posting has so greatly influenced people, because so many of these factors, they were already there. He's in the chat right now. Nah, I only played 1.0, then went straight to 2.0. So to a certain extent, you're right. I wouldn't even use certain extent. Yeah, because I've been saying like, yeah, this guy skipped 1.3 and 1.4 and 1.1 for sure. So like, I think I'm 100% right. Yeah, I said it seems like this guy skipped 1.1, 1.3, and 1.4. So that's 100% correct. Based off of what you just said. So, yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. That's what I mean. I think I know what I'm talking about here.
Most just treat their characters as collectible power units, but WUWA makes them feel like part of the story. And that ties into the dev team. What blows me away is how intentional they've been about improving things. It's not lip service, it's actual action. Players complain about an issue and you see it addressed in the next major patch. That cycle of feedback and response builds trust. And I think that's why the community's energy feels different. There's excitement. People are hyped not just for the current content, but for the direction of where the game's going.
Well, this is the thing. One of the big reasons why the WUWA player base is always in the good mood is because they know that their feedback isn't going to shit. 1,000,000% I can guarantee you, ZZZ's gotten the feedback that they don't like fucking miasma. They're proceeding to make it worse. They're proceeding to make miasma an even more annoying mechanic when I am 99% sure the player base doesn't even fucking like it. They're making it worse. They're making it more pay to fucking win. And WUWA, you literally have the latest release character, fucking Augusta. She works with Jian's weapon and then has like 95% performance on the 1.0 character's weapon. They designed her kit in a way where she gets close to 95% performance, shit like that. They also don't have this rampant fucking level of just absurd power creep, and then they also balance out the fucking end game. They tried fixing Wuthering Waves. You can see the direction. It's not fully there yet, but you can see how they're actually trying to fucking fix it. They added Burning Waves, which should make the game mode more accessible when they fix some of the trigger conditions for it. The devs in ZZZ added miasma, which just makes all of your clears worse. It makes fighting all that content feel like shit. They tried to make WUWA feel better, and they'll probably land on it there. And then you have all the quality of life and all the other stuff. The devs actually take your feedback. They cite the complaint that they got, and then they show you how they address that complaint with the fixes. It's just like night and day. It's a difference. You hear about stuff in all these Hoyoverse games that the players don't like. You hear about the Genshin surveys, where they ask, hey, do you like weekly log talent materials? Hey, do you like randomized drops from your weekly bosses? Do you like all these things? No, of course not, right? They send out that survey 6 months ago, and then they tell you to go fuck yourself afterwards. Wuthering Waves players don't experience that. They've already experienced it under Hoyoverse, and then they're like, wow, this is what it's like when the developer doesn't think of me as a used cum rag. They think of me as an actual paying customer. And honestly, most people aren't going to go back.
And to me, that's rare. Like, how many gachas can you honestly say are more fun 2 years after launch than they were at the start? Usually, it's the opposite. They start strong, then slowly bleed out. WUWA, it's been the reverse. Every patch feels like a genuine step forward, and I think that's what I've been hooked to.
A step forward. Couple of steps back occasionally. Honestly, I don't even call WUWA like a massive step back anymore, because the update where they introduced the HP inflation, the subsequent update afterwards, they then introduced a new mechanic to help tackle it. The response time is fast. Think about Imaginarium Theater in Genshin. It's still dog shit. Years later, it's still trash. Like, I'd rather have 3 WUWAs than a single Imaginarium Theater. I'm gonna be real with you. I'd rather play WUWA for like double, triple the time than play Imaginarium Theater a single time. Good God. And then you have Stygian. That one's still they made Stygian Onslaught worse. They made it even more whaley. They made it even like less accessible unless you pay. It's the opposite.
Not because it's flawless, it still has some things I'd like to change, but because it feels like a game where my time investment actually matters.
This is the thing with developers that listen. Even if there's something wrong with the game, it doesn't bother you as much because you'll always be thinking in the back of your mind, well, they fixed other shit before, so it's probably not that big of a deal if this thing is broken, because they have a track record of fixing these things. So even if it's broken right now, they're probably going to fix it in the near future. It's not really like a big deal at the end of the day. When there's a problem in the Hoyoverse games, you're like, okay, add it onto the list. We've got item number 69,000. Item number 69,000 of fucked up shit Hoyo needs to fix in the game that they'll probably never fix. And so, yes, you're going to be much more upset about when stuff is fucked up in the Hoyo games because you know they'll never address it.
Like, if I stick
like miasma, go fuck yourself. Whoever designed that shit, you're a fucking idiot.
around, I'll get to see it grow into something even crazier. And that's why I'll continue to play WUWA. It feels like my next home, and it actually blows me away with how well the game is now as opposed to 1.0. This is some of the most fun I've had with a gacha game since Prime Genshin Impact. Zero Glaze aside, it's a really fun gacha game that I wish I played sooner.
Like I said before, there's going to be a lot of people in the near future saying this. The exodus of the ZZZ community across the next 2 months, sorry, the next 3 months, right? We already said this version's ending in December. The exodus that this community is going to have across the next 3 months is going to be absolutely insane. So many people got bait and switched by 2.0, the best anniversary in gacha history. They came back to this game, they gave it a shot. This is going to go down to the triple digits. I'm guaranteeing it to you. It's going down to the fucking triple digits. It will have the lowest viewership, the lowest engagement, the lowest YouTube CCV, lowest just everything within the next 3 months. Because these devs have failed horrifically to address a single one of the players' concerns with the story, with the character design, with the kits, with all of this. They failed to address a single one. And the game has just gotten worse and worse with every single patch. I've never seen a game decline this fast, this quickly, and in like this targeted of a manner. It's like the devs know exactly what to fuck up to ruin the game. And they're just fucking like fucking Hawkeye out here hitting all the weak spots of their own design.
Wuthering Waves is a game that's revived my interest in the open world genre. I've been waiting for games like Ananta or Azure Promelia in hopes that
Oh, did ZZZ's open world from 2.0 not cut it for you? Oh, the open world where you press R and then press F and that's it? Wait, that didn't cut it? Oh, but the subspace arrow zone is like so amazing.
their open world aspect is something that's actually done right, but little did I know that Wuthering Waves was my answer all along. I'm excited to see what the future holds for Wuthering Waves, as the future does indeed seem bright. Fingers crossed that the dev team can keep up the momentum. This story has me locked in more than any gacha game out besides FGO, and I can't wait to see where the story takes us next. But
It's gonna take us to some good fucking parts. Let's just be honest here. The 2.6 story was fucking amazing. The 2.5 story was fucking amazing. The 2.4 story was fucking amazing. The 2.3 story was also really... 2.3 didn't have a story. 2.2 story was also amazing. The 2.0 story was also... It's just all... It's been really fucking good stories since, honestly, 1.3... Honestly, since 1.1. Mount Firman's story was good. Shorekeeper's story is good. Camelia's story is good. 2.0 Renacita story... fucking Abenolium... It's all just been good stories.
for all my ZZ folks that haven't given Wuwa a try, you should. ZZZ and Wuwa are two different games that scratch
They're all gonna quit if they try it. You're about to quit too. Don't even fucking play. Brother, I guarantee you, this motherfucker is gonna quit by the time this version's over. I guarantee it to you. He ain't gonna be playing this shit much longer. Cause like, why would you?
two different itches. You might mess around and actually really enjoy it just like I have. I'm confident a lot of gacha players can find some enjoyment out of Wuthering Waves. But for those of you that may have took this video as offense, well, I'm not really sorry. It is what it is.
You wanna know the good news about not having a lot of subs? And I don't mean this in any negative way possible. The good news about not having a lot of subs is you can't have a lot of people that can unsubscribe or get mad that you made a certain type of content. And as far as I'm concerned, I think I saw like a Twitter post over here by the creator. Ooh, that's pretty good. Oh, looks like it was a net gain, ladies and gentlemen. Looks like we have essentially added a plus. We've multiplied our subscriber count by 125% with one video about Wuthering Waves. I mean, let's just be real here, right? This is more of an indicament of there's more people that watch Wuthering Waves than Zenless Zone Zero. Nobody gives a fuck about this game. Anyways, yeah, I think that's kind of like the main, that's like the main bonus over here. It's kind of like a sign-on bonus, right? You know how like employment contracts, they'll be like, hey, we'll like, you know, your salary's like 80K. We'll just drop you 20K right now if you sign with us. Yeah, that's kind of like what this is like for like YouTube channels. When you make the announcement that you're dropping a dog shit game like ZZZ and actually playing something that isn't a steaming pile of shit.
ZZZ hasn't been fun for me for quite a bit, and some of you ZZZ fans secretly know it, but just haven't come to terms with it. It's okay. All we can do now is voice our concerns, and if they're voiced loud enough, eventually the devs will be forced again to implement more change.
Guys, ZZZ has already had 2 soft relaunches. How does a game have 2 soft relaunches and then still manage to break the all-time low record, like, every time? 2.0 was a soft relaunch, guys. 2.0, this is the soft relaunch, boys. This was the first one. First one, then second one, then Is it so wrong for me to say there's something deeply wrong with this fucking game? I don't think so. I think that's actually the default and normal take. Imagine, right? This isn't ZZZ. This is any other game. You would say, this title isn't doing that well. I see a steep decline in players despite the new patch. And it seems like every single new peak seems lower. The peak of every new version update seems lower and lower each time. It just gets lower and lower each time. I think the game's perfect. Yeah, soft relaunch number 1, new version, new version, new version, new version, and then down, and then down. This latest version, 2.2, has had the lowest peak in ZZZ history on release day. That's the truth, brother. Those are the facts. And if you're upset by that, don't get mad at me. Get mad at Hoyoverse for turning this game into a steaming pile of shit. Don't get mad at me for being the messenger. Get mad at Hoyoverse for the delivery. Because they're the one that put a piece of shit inside your package. I didn't do that. I simply delivered the package to you.
Regardless, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. For those of you that have played Wuthering Waves, let me know what keeps you playing. For those of you that play ZZZ and haven't touched WUWA, why not?
You want to know the honest answer to your second question? To those of you that are playing ZZZ but haven't touched WUWA, they're getting paid to. They're Hoyoverse creators under the Yomiholic contract, and they're getting paid not to cover Wuthering Waves. That's the answer. It's not a secret. They're getting paid not to cover WUWA. Because ZZZ is such a dog shit game that they need the power of contracts to limit the competition because the game is that bad and can't stand up on its own legs. That's a fact. It's like the guy that turns on an aimbot and still loses. That's ZZZ. It's pathetic, to be honest.
Stopping you. Or if you have played it, what don't you like about it? My name's Smacksan. I used to be a ZZZ only content creator, but now I'm spreading my wings and introducing
He's gonna be the opposite of a ZZZ only content creator in a couple of months, I can guarantee it.
more gacha games to my channel. If you like discussion-based content or challenge-based content, make sure to hit that sub button and turn the notification bell on so you don't miss out on any future videos.
Kuro's the opposite when it comes to their contracts. If you talk too much about other games, then they don't like that. Kuro's basically like the company that turns on like hard mode. They go for like the hitless run. They want it to be more difficult, while Hoyoverse on the other end wants it to be as easy as possible.
If you like this video, I'm more than confident you'll like either one of these videos on screen. On the left, we talk about why I think HSR's most hated story, Amphorius, is actually their best story writing yet. And on the
Okay, you're on drugs. Anyways, that's a terrible way to end the video. Yeah, I guess that's like another cry for help with that one. Good to see another Kurobot in the makings over here. This is like my honest take on the matter. If my takes, my arguments, my discussions is what triggers this sort of like momentum, this movement across, you know, like the player base, across content creators, I think that's a good thing, right? Because one thing I can pride myself about when it comes to the ZZZ content is that 99% of the time, omitting 1 5-second hyperbole or 2 every once in a while, I'm just stating facts about the game. And this community, this ZZZ community, one thing they really don't like is somebody stating facts about their game just because they happen to be painting the game in a negative light. My take has always been, don't blame me for stating the facts about your game. Can you just blame the devs for making these facts about your game? It's the developer's fault. It's not mine. And so how about instead of trying to chastise me for simply telling you what your devs have done, why don't you chastise your fucking devs for fucking up your game? Because guess what, guys? I don't have enough power to do this. Let me just reiterate this for you. I don't have the power to do this on my own. These are just the facts. I didn't do this. Hoyoverse did. So maybe, just maybe, potentially, you can direct your anger and your blame towards the right people. It's whoever designed this fucking dog shit piece of